Are we good to go? Thank you. Good afternoon. These are the public hearings for code enforcement violations for the city of Titusville on Monday, May 13th, and we're calling this meeting to order at 2:02 p.m. These hearings are quasi-judicial, and I'm the special magistrate appointed to hear these cases. My name is Jennifer Nix. The formal rules of evidence do not apply, but fundamental due process shall be observed during these proceedings. Everyone who has a case today will have the opportunity to present testimony. You may present evidence and/or witnesses to testify on your behalf. There's no public comment portion of these proceedings. You must be a respondent or be called as a witness in order to speak on a specific case. Everything today is being recorded, and all testimony will be under oath. When you are sworn in, if you will please provide your current mailing address so any orders get to the correct address, please. First, the city will present its case, and information will be displayed on the screen. Documents may be provided by the city as evidence. The city PowerPoints presentations will be entered into evidence unless objections are made. After the evidence, I will make a ruling, and this ruling will be reduced to writing and will be mailed to you. If I could go ahead and swear in the witnesses, anybody who may be testifying today, if you would please stand and raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you hereby swear or affirm that the testimony you'll provide this afternoon is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you all. Okay. Okay. Okay, and it looks like the first hearing is a lien reduction request.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, and good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Our first case is 23-02, 2300 Holdings LLC, 2300 Columbia Boulevard. Their representative, Ms. Carla Nettles, is also present.
Thank you.
Again, this case is 2302. It was a violation of 28364 outdoor storage used as an accessory use. It was originally heard January the 9th of 2023. The business owner and tenant on that property, Kenneth Jacobs, was present and testified on behalf of the owner.
Okay.
The respondent was ordered to correct the violation of outdoor storage, removing 50% of the storage on or before February 13th, 2023. The remainder of outdoor storage was to be removed by April 7th of 2023. Compliance was not achieved, and the magistrate imposed a fine amount of $100 a day commencing on April 13th of 2023 and continued for 229 days. Actually finally achieved compliance November the 22nd of 2024. And a lien was recorded against the property. The respondent was assessed administrative fines in the amount of $128.55. And this is the property appraiser's website showing that the property and its fair market value.
I can't see what the fair market value is. Could you possibly?
$622,220. I'm sorry about that. I'll make it bigger next time because I couldn't see it either.
Okay, thanks.
This was the picture taken prior. As you can see, there's still outdoor storage on the property. And as we continued on, that was the original amount from December. And here was April the 4th. And as you can see, it still never left or reached the 50% mark.
Okay.
They called for a compliance hearing on November the 22nd of 2023. And as you can see, we put in compliance that day. All the materials were gone. And I took this photo on May the 1st of 2024 just to reiterate the fact that the property is vacant now and all the open storage has been removed. Conclusions of facts were November the 22nd of 2023, the property achieved compliance and was verified by Code Enforcement Department personnel. The daily fine is $22,900, and the city's cost of recovery was $128.53, which has been paid.
Okay.
On April 24th, we received application of a lien reduction from the registered manager owner. The application is presented and provided you the copy. The respondent again has paid the hard cost to the city. And with that, that is the city's case, and if the representative would like to address you.
Okay, thank you. If I could have your name and address, please.
Carla Nettles, 4655 Cali Corto, Titusville, Florida, 32780.
Thanks. And, I'm sorry, my pen ran out. Is there any way I could borrow one? I apologize. Thank you so much. Excuse me, Ms. Nuttles, please go ahead. Anything you have to say, please feel free about this.
Okay. Our biggest issue was that the tenant was coming to the meetings and he had said that he was going to rectify the situation. And like looking at that, it's been going on a while. And we kept going between him and he said he was going to rectify it and he never did. And then finally, once he moved out, he got everything cleaned out of there.
Okay, and so I understand your position, are you here on behalf of the owner of the property?
Yes.
Thank you. And did I suppose I have questions about when the owner of the property or how the owner of the property got involved in actually helping to rectify the remaining issue. Was it after the tenant left, or were there any?
Well, I was in constant communication with him, and he was assuring me that he was going to have it cleared out, but by the deadlines. And then the deadlines kept approaching, and then his lease was the end of his lease was coming up, and so I had actually had him sign something saying that if he left there with the lien, that he would be responsible for it because he wasn't getting the situation rectified. And then basically, I think he just waited till he was moving out to rectify it.
And while the tenant while you all have made whatever agreement you did with the tenant about
Yeah.
trying to hold his feet to the fire to get him to
Yeah.
rectify it or have him be responsible, ultimately, because the owner owns the property, it's
Right.
the owner's responsibility,
Right.
both
Well, ultimately, it was
lien-wise and,
Yeah, trying to get him, though, to do something about it. Like to get it, like we were, if I was making him responsible, then in my mind, it was going to pressure him to get it taken care of
okay,
instead of leaving it where we are now.
I understand. Did you all ever try to move the things yourself prior to the deadline?
No.
Or, because it seemed that it was stated that there wasn't room for it to go. Is that why the tenant was taking so long?
That was what he was saying, was that he didn't have anywhere to put it. He was, I guess, preparing where his new place was going to be. And it wasn't ready for him to move it there. That was kind of what I was getting from him.
And, okay, so just to ask also, while the tenant said that he was taking care of it, had the owner come to any of the meetings, or were we relying on the tenant and just kind of hearing what tenant reported
Yes.
back?
Yeah, it was only the tenant.
But the owner was aware of
Yes.
the issues, correct? And I saw that the owner had received notice, it said he
Yeah.
in the application.
Yes.
Okay. And as far as the, when, in the role that I'm sitting in here today, I need to basically go through what factors I can consider in giving a recommendation as to, for council's approval as to what can happen.
Okay.
Yes.
May I just ask a couple of questions before you go through the criteria?
Oh, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Carla, could you, if you recall, state the dates of the lease? What dates did the secure fence company occupy the property? And it can be roughly, if you know the months.
The lease was 2018, March 2018 to February 2023. And then we gave him an extension from March 2023 to October 31st. And then he didn't actually get out until November.
At any time during that lease, did you ever discuss with the tenant early termination?
For not being compliant with the code enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Do you recall when the code enforcement case began? And Glenn, if you have that information.
Yeah, I have it too.
That's okay. According to the code enforcement officer, the case began April 2022.
Yeah.
And then my
Not
last
June.
question is just when was the case brought into compliance? Do you have a date of compliance?
Yeah, that's,
November 7th, 2023, 22nd, 2023. Those are the only questions I wanted to ask. Thank you all for your assistance.
Thank you. And did the city have a position as to any kind of reduction of the lien?
I know that the agreement between the owner and the tenant did stipulate that the tenant would be responsible for the code enforcement costs and the case and all of the things associated with it, which is originally why the owner of the business had first submitted a lien reduction application. And I'm not sure if it was really stated, but one of the reasons that lien reduction hearing did not move forward is because of additional costs that the permits for that business owner that have not been satisfied. There's a large number of outstanding permit fees. And so as the business owner, that was a deficiency preventing the code from authorizing that individual to qualify. And this program was then modified throughout the course of that request to this request to state that only the owner of the property is eligible and authorized to request a lien reduction for the benefit of the property. And so I just wanted to add those details. The city has had a great communication relationship working with Carla, not so much with the tenant. The tenant obviously was brought into a violation status, which was a very generous period of time to begin with because there was a staggered period that was provided for in the original finding of fact that gave him X number of months to get a portion of it cleaned up, and that didn't even happen. And so there was a complete lack of trust once that stage of the code enforcement case evolved to the next stage. And it just really didn't get any better when the tenant did not come into compliance for over a year and a half because of the statements that he wasn't going to come into compliance here in Titusville, and he was going to move his business out of Brevard County, which is what my understanding is that he's done.
Okay.
As far as your question, does the city have a position? It's very difficult with all of those factors for us to say one way or another, anything different from what I've just commented on. So if you could just go through the criteria and then make sure to include all of the points you've made in your criteria and captured in the order that you will ultimately prepare in writing.
Okay, thank you. And did you have anything to add to that, Ms. Nettles? Okay. Okay. A lot of papers. Bear with me for one moment.
I know.
Get the order in front of me. There it is. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to verify, first of all, that this was for case number 23-02, which is 2300 Columbia Boulevard in Titusville, and that the section of which the property was found in violation was 28-364 outdoor storage. Okay. Okay, and just to confirm, it was November 22nd, 2023, that the property was brought into compliance? Okay, thank you. Okay, and for the record, as noted earlier, the city's PowerPoint presentation is admitted into evidence, as is the application for the lien reduction and the order, which is being petitioned to be reduced. Okay, so this was found to be a fine in the amount of $100 per day, which came to an amount of $22,900. And just to further confirm, the administrative costs of the city in the amount of $128.53 have already been paid, is what we had said, correct? Okay, then I'll go ahead and get through these factors as provided for in the city code. So. As to the, all right, so there's subsection, so you know, as listed in the application for lien reduction, there are certain sections of the code which are found in section 31-71, subsection G. And the factors that I'm looking at are in G1, and then it's AA through HH, and I'm just going to go through them each in turn. As to the gravity of the violation, since we just need to consider each one of these, so it was all of that outdoor storage which was being shown, and I saw it was bifurcated to be half of the materials were to be taken out by February 13th, which didn't seem to occur, and then the rest of the property didn't, and that was February 13th, 2023, and then it fully came into compliance November 22nd, 2023. As far as the seriousness of the violation, as to the city's position on that, when we're looking at the gravity of the violation, I guess kind of in weighing how severe of a violation that is, what's staff's position?
It's not a public safety violation, it's more aesthetic.
Right. As to the actions taken by the applicant to correct the violations, which is of course you as the owner, here, the time that it took to bring the property into compliance, and any scheduled maintenance plans to avoid future repeat violations as appropriate. As far as the actions taken by the applicant to correct the violations, so from what you're saying, Ms. Nettles, it sounds like the owner was trying to deal with the tenant on their own rather than, kind of separately in their own civil landlord-tenant way than through City Hall, or actually removing through City Hall. I mean, coming to the code enforcement hearing.
I honestly thought he was gonna clean it up.
Yeah.
Like that, I feel like just looking at the time frames and doing it, like, I don't know, maybe naive to think, I know that I won't address it this way again. It won't go this way again. Well, and I think now you guys have made changes where hopefully that won't be allowed to happen that way, with the owner having to be present, so. But I thought he would get it cleaned up because I wouldn't think that he would want to have to pay the fines.
Right, and that's kind of
And I didn't really, I honestly thought that he would take care of it. Because I mean, I don't know how, like, were we gonna go in there and just like move his stuff out? Like, I don't know how we would have addressed it. We would have probably had to get an attorney or something at that point.
right. And I can't speak to what you should or shouldn't have done as to moving it yourself. And however, the problem, of course, is now that the owner is stuck with this lien.
Right.
And
Well, and well, now hearing what they said too, is that, I mean, it sounded like he had no intention. Had I been in the hearing, then I would have heard him speak in the sense that he wasn't going to take care of it. And that would have put me in a different direction.
I understand.
So this was a lesson learned.
Okay. And the time that it took the property to actually come into compliance, the number of days wise?
295.
Okay. Which is a long time.
Yeah.
Were you aware that they hadn't met the first compliance date?
No, I was under the impression that it was taken care of.
Did the tenant tell you that?
He constantly told me like in my text messages, I have where he's told me that it's taken care of, it's taken care of. And I asked, did I need to attend the meetings? And he said that he had it under control and he was going to be in compliance. And so I went back and forth with him thinking he was, yeah.
Okay, I understand. How often do you guys, as the owner, how often do you see the property, I guess? Is it something, because this is a violation that's sitting outside and that
Right.
can be seen.
Right.
Being outdoor storage. Do you go by the property or check on the property?
Yeah,
when it's in violation?
most of the properties are local, but, I didn't know to the extent of like what was not allowed to be there, was allowed to be there, like when he said he was taking it out or moving it, then I was thinking he just had to move, a certain amount, and then he was gonna be in compliance, and then now I know that all of it needed to be moved.
Okay. And you did receive the orders, correct?
Yes.
Okay, the order. Okay, and as far as one of the parts of this subsection is any scheduled maintenance plans to avoid future repeat violations, and while that tenant is gone, I suppose just, and going through
Now,
these factors.
if I ever get one of these again, it'll be addressed in compliance, like from the get-go. Like, it will not, it's not gonna be, the tenant's not gonna say that they're gonna take care of it. It's not gonna be an option. It's gonna come into compliance, or you're gonna be released from release.
So presumably the owner will be involved in the proceedings in the future.
The goal is to not have any more proceedings.
Good point. Okay. All right. With the accrued amount of the code enforcement fine compared to the current market value of the property, so the accrued code enforcement fine was $22,900. And I think that the appraised value from the property appraiser was in the ballpark of $622,000.
Yes, ma'am.
So, let's see. Okay, and have there been any previous or subsequent code violations by the applicant?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, and the next factor is applicant's prior knowledge of the lien, which you've admitted that you were aware of it. And as far as financial hardship factor, was there anything that you wanted to present or state relative to that?
On that building, we're having to go through a rezoning with the new tenant. We had a tenant available in March, and we are having to go through a rezoning. It won't be, the hearing won't be till August. So we've had the building, it has to sit empty until we have that hearing in August. Luckily, our future tenant is gonna wait for the hearing, for the rezoning before they can move in.
Okay, and then clearly there's no homestead exemption on this
No.
property. And are there any other circumstances that you would like to mention in regards to the situation? Okay. Okay. Okay, and then just under the city code, so you're aware, I cannot, as a special magistrate, reduce the costs, which have already been paid for, of the $128 and some change
Yes.
that had been mentioned. And this is a recommendation, and then hereafter, this will be placed on the city council agenda for final action. So there will be an order that issues from this hearing, of course, in writing, and then it'll go to council from here. As far as I'll include in my order that the applicant shall pay the city's administrative costs of $128. You've already done that, so you don't have to worry about that.
Can you notate that in the order prior to this hearing, the costs were paid?
Yes,
Thank you.
of course. And again, this is a recommended order. I would highly suggest that you attend the council meeting and speak to them when they're actually addressing the issue with finality. As to the gravity of the violation, I do feel like, okay, it's fine that it's more aesthetic than a safety issue, but I kind of just talk about all of these together. The fact that I'm a little bothered by the fact in reducing it by a ton, given that it took as long as it did to be brought into compliance, because 299 days is a very long time to be brought into compliance, and the tenant didn't even meet the first violation to have a certain percentage of that brought into compliance at that date. So I do have an issue reducing it greatly, both because it was so long, and while a tenant is stating that they're doing certain things that they may or may not be doing to come into compliance, ultimately it is on the owner to get involved in some way or another in order to get the property back into compliance with the code. I know that takes some figuring out on an owner's behalf when they're trying to do that, but also with it being the type of violation that is visible from the outside, I don't think it would be too hard to have realized that it kept not being brought into violation, regardless of what the tenant was telling you, even if they weren't being truthful or entirely truthful as to their efforts. That said, there haven't been any previous or subsequent code violations by the applicant, so that weighs in your favor, of course, but the owner did have appropriate notice under the statute and city code of the violations and the order and what needed to be done as far as that outdoor storage needed to be gone in whatever regard. I can also appreciate the fact that you do seem serious in moving forward as far as not perhaps letting something fall on the responsibility of the tenant when ultimately it is the owner's thing to fix. That said, I'm going to recommend to the city council that the fine be reduced to $15,000. For the reasons that I've stated, kind of weighing those factors. And we'll see what the council does with that decision when it gets placed on their agenda. And I will have an order that's reduced to writing and provided, of course, to the owner. Did you have any questions or anything? Okay. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Okay. Just give me 1 second to move the stack of papers. Okay, and is the Massey hearing the next hearing, or?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, this is case 24-09. It is a Massey hearing for 3304 South Hopkins Avenue. The code enforcement officer, Jim Flang, is here to present the case.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Like it says, case 2409, I have a affidavit notice of hearing to present to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and we'll accept both of these into evidence.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I guess the city's PowerPoint will be Exhibit A, and the affidavit will be B, and the notice of hearing will be C.
Right.
Thank you. Go on.
Okay. Again, the respondent is C Cubes Landing LLC. The violation address 3304 South Hopkins Avenue, Titusville, Florida. The mail to address was what was on file, the 5155 South Washington Avenue, Unit 203. And the three violations we're discussing today are the general exterior maintenance, their exterior walls, and roof and drainage. This case was originally heard on February 12th, 2024. The respondent was ordered to correct those three violations by May 10th, 2024. If not corrected, a recommended fine of $250 a day was to be imposed. Actually, it was the magistrate that set that fine, the $250 a day, $250 a day per violation
Okay.
if the violations were not corrected. The hearing notices were posted at City Hall and on the property on April 30th, 2024, and the certified mail was sent on April 9th, 2024. And this is just a legal description, just indicates we're discussing that whole plaza, 3304 through 3310. I'm sorry, 3314.
Thank you.
This what, do you need to see just the picture since this is a Massey, or do you want to see the violation?
I think it would be good for me to see the pictures so I can have an understanding of how it was
Well,
and how
I
it
had both
is.
on here. I didn't know if you wanted to see the
That'd be
description or
great.
just the picture, so.
Thank you.
This was the exterior structure. You can see there's wall damage to the pillar. This was the original picture taken in December 2023. This is an updated picture on May 8th that I took last week. As of today, it's still in the same condition when I went out there today to double check it. Then the exterior walls, exterior walls shall be free from holes, breaks, and loose rotting material, etc. And this is the side of the building as well. This again was back in December. And this is as of May 8th. Same condition, no repairs or anything has been made. When I went out there today, it's in the same condition as last week. And again, December 14th, 23, that was the condition of the property on that. And May 8th last week, same condition. And as of today, no corrective actions have been taken. It still looks the same as of today.
Were those, the first picture that you showed, is this kind of moving down the
That's the,
plaza as far
yes.
as the first one looked a lot worse? I just wanted to make sure that
right.
the subsequent pictures weren't showing
Yeah,
improvements and that was a
is
different
the,
part of the building
yeah,
still
this
not
is the north
repaired.
side of the building.
Okay,
This would be the front middle part of the building.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Same thing.
I see.
And this is on the south end of the building. In one of the occupied buildings, there's cracks in the wall where you can see daylight through the outside. Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of can't see it. You can see it in the cracks. Unfortunately, the picture wouldn't show it up too well. And as of today, it's in the same condition as of last week. There we go.
Okay,
I'm sorry. There we go. I did have one. You can see the daylight coming in from
I
outside.
can see that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all the way up the wall. February 24, oh, those are February 24th picture. And then the roof and drainage, there we go. And the soffits on the side, you can see the damage is more towards the south end of the building. This was taken in December. And again, the same area, you can see no repairs have been made. It still has the exposure. And again, this is the front part of the building back in February. Oh, and then as of today, I didn't have an updated picture of that section, but as of today, it's in the same condition of today. So basically, we're looking at the 3 violations: the exterior maintenance, the pillar bricks have been damaged in the corner of the building, the exterior walls, the walls have missing pieces on the wall, and that exposed section of bricks that's on that one building, and the roof and drainage, the roof and flashing have been open that are not sound tight, allowing moisture, bugs, anything to get into the roof area. And that's the same. I apologize. I forgot to take that part out. This case was also, there was 2 other violations on this property. Those were heard in March. Costs were imposed back then, so we're not requesting costs as of today. But the violations haven't been corrected, and we're just requesting the fines to start as of Friday. And the respondent is here if you need to talk to him. And he has not been sworn in if you need to.
Okay.
He came in late.
Okay. Okay. And if there's a respondent present, if you could please come on up, and then if you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, I'm Tuan Lee,
Okay.
here in Titusville.
And then I'm sorry, did you say an address?
5571 South Washington.
Okay. Thank you. And what do you have to say today?
Okay, so this is what is it? I mean, but what happened is, in history, in the past, I had restored a whole bunch of different buildings. After the COVID happened, the financials have given me a very hard time of trying to maintain all the property and things like that. And especially most of my tenants are behind on any property they behind for months. And I have a hard time to get everything up to today and things like that. But anyway, it's property is mine, and I'm responsibility for that. But as of I'm standing right here, I just talked to the general contractor and GC, and he just put in a permit to remove the front part of the damage that you show, the damage on the roof where you see it. That part is an extra from the structure, so we put a permit to remove that.
Okay.
And all the panels will be gone away, so that's less stress for us. So that all that fun is just cosmetic that we're gonna remove it, so we could keep our structure. And we also put a permit to fix all the other area, like the storage area and things like that, to make a better facer. And but in addition to that, I need to extra time for doing that. But the GC guy, he on my way coming here, I'm talking to him, and they put it online to put a permit for that. But it needs extra time get all that stuff happen. And I want to get it done too, but financially, stuff like that. After the COVID, everybody get hurt. I'm a small business too, so I try to balance everything as much as I can, but it too much spread out. It's not just only one property, but I try to do it overall. And most of my investment is here in Titusville, and I want to make a Titusville better too. That's why in the past, I don't know you know that or not, but some people here know that in the past, before the COVID, any property that I purchase, I make it really nice and make it stand out. But since after that, it's hard. It's hard if you can be reasonable, understand, and I will take time. I mean, not take time, I will try to make it done, because I feel hurt too when it's sitting there without tenant and I have to pay the mortgage and things like that. It's not easy. But on top of that, and my tenant cannot, they don't have business. So it's hard for us. But I'm asking for extend it more time. But I'm already putting a permit for all that. So you will see something going on. Yeah.
So you're saying the general contractor did submit the permit already
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
today?
yeah, today.
Did he send you any proof of that or anything? or-
Because I was on the phone with him. So I met him last week, and we talked about it. And I was on the phone with him while he working on that. So you will see something today for sure, by the end of the day. So because and on top of that, I tried to fix the whole structure, but the estimates come out, $1.5 million is way over too much. And then I was asked for the EDC to support, and they give like 10% of it, but still, that's why it's way over the budget. So I try to do a different way. I can have all that proof that I tried to working on it for years, not just recently. But financially, it's tough right now for keep everything is moving. But for sure, you're going to see stuff like that, and it's not easy to deal with a lot of things going on with economic.
I do understand that. When were you able to obtain this general contractor?
Like what I say, you're going to see some permit poured today. I mean, by the end of today, it should be something up there because we're going to get the whole thing removed. It's less straight, and then we fix what it need to be fixed. And this is just the beginning that you're going to see. And I think remove the fun part of it. We working on my financial right now to see which section we do it first. But you see it's moving along. So maybe last couple of weeks that on the other side is more messier. But in the last week and a half, I pushed and I try to get help, and they start to clean up all the verbs and stuff like that. So if Jim is there, and yeah, there's some damage there, but there's something is moving, not like before I come here, not just coming here without have anything done. Because like the last few weeks, there's a little bit more messy, but I try to get trash and clean up and stuff like that. But you will see more coming in. But honestly, financially, I need time to fix all that. It's my property. I want to look nice. I mean, I don't want to burn my money and no tenant. So,
Right.
but it's hard. It's not easy.
Mr. Lee, do you have an actual contract with the contractor for these repairs?
Yeah, I have the contact with the GC guy. Yeah.
Do you have it with you?
No, I don't. I mean, I just we talked and then we on the.
So when did you start this contract?
So he put in a permit today, and then I'm going. I talked to him last week. I'm sorry, not last week, and then I'm gonna get the paper.
What day did you hire this contractor?
Supposed to be, I hired him like way back.
Have
but
you
then
paid him for anything?
No, because we don't have anything moving yet, so that's why I have not paid. But now because I have to get one of the over 3,000.
Has a permit application been submitted?
That's what I mean.
It doesn't happen immediately.
No.
Like the issuance of a permit is not automatic. Has an application been submitted?
Yeah, that's what, when I get here, the application is gonna submit right now.
So not yet.
Not yet, that's why I'm just get off the phone with him, and then I met up with him last week as well. So he go over everything. So I'm here for this, and also have to go to the business department right here to get you have to get it over $3,000. You have to get some kind of paperwork I have to sign for him. So anything is above 3,500, you have to sign the agreement to pay him whatever stuff like that. Yeah. So I have to get it, and then I have to get all this stuff done. So because the application, he can do it online, so I don't have to do it. But there's a document that I have to do it here. Yeah. I know the document, but I forget the name just right now. I know what.
Notice
I know
of
what kind
commence, a
document.
notice of commencement, probably.
Yes. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Is that permit going to include the entire plaza or just this building?
Entire, the fun part of it, the whole from the left wing all the way to the store.
Because it is a combined
Yeah,
parcel,
yeah.
and there's fines running on all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I tried to fix the garage and all stuff like that too. And
But none have been brought into compliance as of yet. None of it's been in compliance yet, though?
No.
Okay.
But I
Thank you.
try to clean up the mess and all the trash and stuff like that. Yeah, because I haven't, been, so. Thing is moving, but it's slow, but like financially, honestly, it's something that's holding me back. But I'm trying to work on it.
Okay. And you do understand that this is a compliance hearing as far as you've already been here once, well, twice before, because they split it with the due
Yes.
dates, to where what I'm being asked to do today is find you in non-compliance of those 3 sections and impose a fine, as opposed to likely.
I understand, but like, that's why, I mean, the situation is really extremely hard. I'm asking for extent because the building has been there for 15, 20 years and it's always been a big mess. It's just happened that the time that I purchased, at the time that you guys gonna push hard on that area, but that building has been really, I mean, it's like that situation for over 10 years. And it just happened at the time I buy, it's not the right time for the economic. I mean, it's not that something that I had it bad from the beginning. The building has been bad. Like most of the property that I purchased is really bad. It's like ground zero. And Miss Chelsea here know that there are so many property that I fix it up but it just happened in the timeline that financially and economic bad is push me everything behind. But it's not that I'm not trying to do it. So I'm asking to extend it and then give me more time to work on it, and I'm making action on it. So what I'm going to do, you will see that I'm doing correct from section by section. I cannot do it all at the same time, but I put all the permit at the one time. But then I'm start to do from the south end of it to the north end of it. But it's all that is about budgets. I mean, honestly. If some bank is give me a loan for that, I can have it done tomorrow, But it's happening. I mean, no bank, going to step in at this time. We before, yes, I can get bank and loan and stuff like that's easier than now. So nobody want to invest into Titusville, seriously. I mean, that's straight to the point.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Do you have any?
Yes, ma'am, I was just going to remind Ms. Lee that this is a mass hearing. He's had well more than enough time, and I appreciate him coming today and providing all those details. And there is the availability of the lien reduction at the end of the process.
With the violations that you have here on the building, the pictures look pretty bad.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, I don't like it either. It's my property. I don't want to have an ugly property. But, and honestly, I mean, straight to the point that like financially it's holding me back. If the economic is normal and we're not going to all, because I had multiple investment and when it hit me, it hit hard. Everything is get hard at the same time. And it's hard to survive. When you have one problem, you can solve the problem right away. But if you have 10 problems, so now, and then you have only one source of the income coming in and you have 10 problems. So it's hard for a small business. And then now, I mean, at a time of like economic is bad and the bank don't come in and my tenants, I had tenants didn't pay me for months. Like there's tenants that doesn't pay me a year, but I try to help them. But like, it's hard for my situation too. I mean, I just give you the honest answer, and then, of course, my tenants listen to this too, and they know that they are behind the rent, and I'm not trying to push them to get out of the place. I try to help them because that's why I'm asking for the city to help me, because if I'm pushing them out, it's not good for me, not good for them too, and it's not good for the city as well. So a situation that I'm in, like if people who in my shoe, they would understand. If they knock in my shoe and say, oh, that guy, he don't want to take care, oh, that guy, he don't want to do that. But the thing is, the economic is bad. and then it's getting worse. And then, but I'm trying to work on it, and I've been trying to do it for years. That's why I applied to EDC. I reached out for different support, and I tried to talk to different options city have and things like that. But there's nothing available, and I have to find a solution for myself. It's not like that I'm ignored. I mean, by the end of the day, it's my property. So I'm working in every solution I can, but because I have so many property that have situation at the same time, and I cannot like fix one end and the other end is fall. So I have to keep maintain the other and then move along. So that's just the truth that I'm standing here. Thank you for for keeping up with me, but that's just the truth. Like it's hard. It's really hard with the economic. I'm not the only one. There's many other people too. When they buy the property after the COVID, they have a hard time too. I mean, even look at the Sea Town Mall. It's take for a long time for a guy to do something. So.
How long do you think that it will take you to bring the property into compliance with these three? I'm just curious as to,
So
it's been since at least before December that it's been like this, as noticed from the city. So I don't know how long it was like this beforehand, but
So if people who live here or who know the area, that building has been like that for way before I buy it. And of course, by time it's getting worse. But I'm looking forward to start from now to do a little by little, that I'm gonna have the permits done. And then we start to work from the south end of it back, because technically we have to remove the front canopy of the section where you see the collapse in the wood pieces falling. That part is not connect. I mean, it's connect, but it's not a part of the structure. It's two separate things that the previous owner put in afterward. So if I remove that part and then we'll work a long way with it, because I'm have to start from the south end of it, because as soon as it get done and everything is secure and in a good stand, then I have to start to rent it out to get the money to fix, keep moving toward to the end. So.
well, and just as a point of mention, with any of these three violations, it's on the whole parcel. So, even if, obviously you need to stay in touch with the code enforcement department to keep them apprised as to when you come into compliance. But just because you're in compliance with the front end of the building, if the back end isn't, for instance, you probably still will not be found to be in compliance with that code section. So I just want to keep you aware of that.
Well, that's why another thing is I asked to help me to reduce or work it out somehow so I can move along, because this is it's got long project. It's not going to happen overnight, because by the end of the day, it's all about budgets. And if you give me more leeway and if you give me more room, then I move down along down the section of it, because if you start to find me on this, and then it take like a year or two to get it done, but moving along I improve it, and then by the time I get done, I have like way too much money that for on the lien. So that's why I'm asking to have a solution to help me out this time, that I'm trying to work on it, and I'm in. Jim is going to be in the area, so after I get the permit, and he also going to see something improvement and change. But I don't want to promise yet I'm going to have it done next month or next 2 months or 6 months, because that's not true and that's not real, because the cost is a lot of money. So I'm asking to give me some good solution, work it out with me somehow, and give me some way of time of fixing along down.
Well, and at the point that we're at now, as far as working with you in solutions and things that I can craft from where I'm sitting, I'm being asked to, look at a compliance hearing and determine whether or not you're in compliance with 3 code sections, which you are already found to be in violation of, and given a deadline. So some of the information that you're stating today as to more time and such, I think I would have probably more expected to hear, and you probably discussed it then too if you were at the first hearing or two. But
I completely understand. I hear what you say, and I know what the coast enforcement team looking for. Yes, I want to do a compliant. I mean, to the point is like I keep saying, it's my property, and I want to get all that compliant to make it look better. But because of the financially situation, that's why it's keep holding me back. But there's some time I have to do what I have to do, and there's some time it top. So I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm not going. I'm agree to whatever you say, and I agree what Jim had said, provide a picture. But in other hand, I truly need the city of Titusville and coast enforcement to work with me, not just give me a hard time, because I live here in Titusville too. I'm not an outsider. I live here for over 15 years. Then this is my town too. So
I can
please
appreciate
understand.
that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And
If I could just add a couple of things.
Yes.
This property was purchased December 2021, and that was significantly long after COVID had began. So I would like to just rebut the statements that COVID is the basis for not having the financial resources to take responsibility for the maintenance of this property. And Mr. Tuan Lee, who you hear as the representative of C-Cube's Landing, does own several properties in Titusville, and we do have a long history with him appearing at code enforcement because he has a tendency to purchase buildings that either previously needed or current become a nuisance and need to address code enforcement issues, but the city has extended as much flexibility and patience with this existing case as I believe is necessary, and there's no cause for additional delay in this matter.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, everyone. And I'm inclined to agree with the city as far as not wanting to delay the imposition of an order on the matter, largely because, there was half of the case was given a shorter time frame and heard, and this seemed to have been extended a little bit longer. I mean, if the city was noticing that this was a problem, and when I say noticing, I mean sending a notice of violation type of thing, because Mr. Lee, I know that you had even stated that the property was in that shape prior to your purchasing it. And unfortunately, it's in the state that it's in now, but I can see that it's clear from the photographs, as well as the testimony from both parties, that the property continues to be in violation of all three of the code sections that we're dealing with today. Well, 6-109 as to all of them, which is just what incorporates the International Property Maintenance Code into the city code. But specifically 304.1 general exterior maintenance, 304.6 exterior walls, and 304.7 roofs and drainage. I think it is very clear from the photographs that the property is in violation of all three of those code sections, given the state of the roof and the soffit and the building walls that are shown from the evidence on record today. That said, I'm going to go ahead with my oral order, and we'll go ahead and reduce this to writing, and it will be provided to all the parties. Let's see, so I've accepted and considered the documentary evidence, photographs, and sworn testimony relating to this matter from city staff and from Mr. Tuan Lee. I do find that the respondent's the owner of the property and that all required notices were provided in accordance with the state law and the city code, and that violations of sections 304.1 general exterior maintenance, 304.6 exterior walls, and 304.7 roofs and drainage, those all being cited from the International Property Maintenance Code 2018, that those are all in violation and remained in violation as of the due date of May 10th, which is the previously ordered date for compliance, per day per violation. And therefore, I'm going to order that a fine of $250 per day per violation is imposed beginning on May 10th, 2024, and continuing to accrue daily until the property is brought into compliance and such compliance is verified by code enforcement. The respondent shall be responsible to provide notice of the violations being corrected to the city's code enforcement department. And further, all of the cited violations will be considered repeat violations in accordance with state law for 5 years, and a certified copy of the order can be recorded in the public records. And this will be written up and provided by mail. And I would suggest that the owner follow up with the city about a lien reduction once the property is brought into compliance, if you're so inclined. I thank you for your time today. And that's the conclusion of this particular hearing. I think there's one more thing on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. It's case 2450, Linnovation LLC, 5155 South Washington Avenue, Unit 203. The officer is May Wright in this case, and Mr. Lee is also the respondent for this case as well.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I have 3 items to submit as exhibits. The first is the affidavit for the notice of violation. The second is going to be the affidavit for the notice of hearing. And the third is the cost recovery statement in the amount of $146.14.
Okay, and all of these are accepted into evidence as, is there going to be a PowerPoint on this one also? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll do the PowerPoint as Exhibit A, and then there's the notice of violation affidavit, that will be B, the affidavit notice of hearing will be C, and the cost recovery will be D. Okay.
So once again, this is the initial hearing for case number 24-50. The respondent business is Lenovations LLC. Tuan Lee is the registered agent for the LLC. The violation address is 5175 South Washington Avenue, Suite 203, which is also known as 5155 South Washington Avenue, Suite 203. Mailing address is the same. The ordinance section is 11-31, which is business tax receipt required. So, our certified notice of hearing and the notice of violation were mailed out on the same day. That's March 7th, 2024. That certified letter was signed for on March 29th of 2024. So we received the complaint from Titusville's Development Services concerning this business that had unpaid 2023-2024 business tax receipt. So my initial inspection confirmed that Lenovation was listed at the property, the sign on the pylon, on the front of the building, as well as at Unit 203. All listed it on property. As of April 2024, Sunbiz also had this the business listed as active. I did have contact with Mr. Tuan Lee last Friday concerning today's hearing and the need to obtain his BTR, his business tax receipt. and he is here to testify. This is the code section 11-31. I don't know if you need to see that.
I have a copy, thank you.
Okay. And again, confirm the business is still active with Mr. Twanley. And our outstanding fees are $186.50 for the business tax receipt with the city. So these are pictures taken on my initial inspection of the property. Conclusions of fact, as of this afternoon, before I came into the meeting, the BTR still had not been paid for or issued.
Okay.
And we are requesting that the respondent be ordered to pay the past due fees in the amount of $186.50 by July 8th, 2024. And we are asking that administrative costs in the amount of $146.14 be assessed.
Okay. Hi, if you'd like to come on up, and just for the record again, if you could please state your name and address.
I'm Twanley, 5175 South Washington. Yes, I met Agent Wright on Friday, and I'm going to take care of all that fee and stuff and renewals by today. I mean, right after this. So whatever the fee is, I'm going to take care of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as far as I know that the city, of course, wants the $186.50 paid by July 8th, and then there's an administrative fee that the city is requesting. If it's not paid by July 8th, is the city looking for a daily fine be entered?
No, ma'am.
Just pay this and
Just
That
pay
fee.
the amount due and cost.
okay. All right, if there's nothing further from either party, I'll go ahead and enter my order. Okay. I've accepted and considered documentary evidence, photographs, and sworn testimony relating to this matter. I do find that the respondent who is here and provided testimony is the party responsible for paying the business tax receipt for this issue. And that there is a violation of city code section 11-31, business tax receipt required. Okay, and I would order that the respondent pay the past due amount of $186.50 by July 8th, 2024, and that the respondent also pay the administrative fine amounts incurred in the amount of $146.14. And that is my order. And that concludes this particular hearing as well. And as far as the agenda For the rest of the agenda, the next section seems to be code enforcement manager.
No report?
Okay. And any other city business?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then we will adjourn these hearings at 3:18 PM. Thank you.
Yeah.